I know a woman that was so strong and is still the strongest person that I know today. There are many aspects of her about her that most people would consider average, I guess. But to me, the fact that she was a daughter, a mother, a sister, these aspects just helped her to grow and to be the strongest person that she could be. It was how she was raised and to work a certain way, where she created a family that would go on to support her through her struggles throughout her whole life. A lot of people would consider the beginning of her life to be somewhat average. She was born in Virginia, but she moved and was raised in Ohio, a very, very small town just outside of Canton called Akron. This town was somewhat small, and the way she was raised as her parents being racist, she'd never seen an African American until she was the age of 17. And for me, this is astounding because I'm so culturally diverse, moving from place to place throughout my whole life. I know how to respect people, and this was for her breaking a new boundary that was so foreign to her, because growing up in the same place her entire life, she never knew any different. But this woman that she had met, her name was Felicia, ended up becoming one of her very close, very best friends throughout her whole life. Just after high school, they went into the Air Force together and started basic training. They lived together for a while, until they parted ways a little bit, but still continued to be friends. This woman ended up being a meteorologist and a recruiter in the Air Force for at least 8 years. And until she became pregnant at 19, she married at 20, was divorced from this first marriage only 4 years into it. She quit her job after the 2 years after divorce to become a stay-at-home mom, where she married another man. His name is Alan, where they continue to grow as a family and had 2 other children named Nathan and Lucy. This woman would continue to support her husband by moving from place to place. They moved from Ohio to Michigan to Tennessee. But during one of their most recent moves from Tennessee to North Carolina, just before they moved, she was diagnosed with cervical cancer. She was always a very positive person, and she never let anything stand in her way. So once she was diagnosed with cervical cancer, she thought, I'm gonna kick cancer's butt. And she always, that's the thing, that she always saw a positive in every situation. And she thought, oh, it's not lung cancer, because throughout her whole life she was a heavy smoker. And so that was, for her, would have been one of the positives, is that she didn't have lung cancer, because through her life people would always tell her that you're going to get cancer from smoking. And she saw it kind of comical, and then she always turned it on a different way in a different situation that nobody ever thinks about before. But she ended up putting a really good fight through her diagnosis. She ended up going through chemo for about 11 months until October 3rd, 2013. She passed away. She's still the strongest person I know for trying, and that's what makes me so proud, that I get to know this person and I get to sit here and be through a situation. No matter how negative and how depressing it sounds, it's something that I didn't know about till this situation, and being able to look over such an event, and such a negative event in that sense. But what most people don't realize is that people's reactions and feelings towards any type of cancer, they think of it as a struggle to overcome. And it's something that we, as humans, don't know the cure yet. There are things that we think help, and there are things that we know we shouldn't do that won't cause a chain reaction to any of the things that we think that are just starting this disease that we have no prior idea about. And that's what I think is crazy about how strong she was, is that she didn't have any preparation for something like this. Nobody ever does. And she didn't go through, she went through basic training in Air Force. You can't go through a basic training to be able to overcome a disease that nobody knows anything about. And that's what's crazy, that there's so many people that have this negative impact, this negative outlook on a disease that they know nothing about. And for me, this situation, I didn't know anything about it going into something like this, knowing something about cancer. I knew nothing. And I don't want people to have this negative outlook towards cancer anymore. I don't want people to have this negative outlook towards the people that have cancer, that oh, they're so weak, maybe just because they have these things, they need to take these treatments, they need to go over and over on chemo, and it's just making them weaker and weaker. And it's harder and it's more of a struggle to get through that. And I don't want people to be remembered. I don't want my mother to be remembered as somebody that's weak for trying to fight a disease that nobody ever has any preparation for. I don't want my mom to be remembered as weak for dying, but strong for trying. And that's what people have to remember these people for, that they're just strong enough that at least they tried, and not a lot of people have the guts to do that.